Baby, when I tell you that Drake has zero intentions of losing this fight with Kendrick, you better believe me, because he just clapped back at Kendrick and he is willing to fight dirty as long as he gets to hit Kendrick where it hurts. Fans have been clowning Drake and saying that Kendrick owned him with the savage clapbacks in his diss tracks. And Drake decided to defend his masculinity by dropping another diss track against Kendrick, and he dragged Kendrick's fiance Whitney into it again. For those who don't know, Kendrick and Whitney have been together for a long time, since high school in fact. But just because they have been together for a long time doesn't mean that their relationship has been perfect throughout. Like many other long-term relationships, they have had their fair share of troubles, and they even broke up a couple of times. According to Kendrick, the major reason behind their issues was his fame, because he didn't know how to deal with his success and suffered from imposter syndrome. In an interview with Rolling Stone, the interviewer said, Lamar has documented his inner struggles before, most notably on Swimming Pools from Good Kid, which explores his past troubles with alcohol and his family's history of addiction. But once he got successful, he says, things got more difficult, not less. One of his biggest issues was self-esteem, accepting that he deserved to be where he was. And some of that came from his discomfort around white people. He and Whitney eventually got engaged in 2015, but it has been 9 years since then, and there are no wedding bells ringing. It probably has something to do with how Kendrick has been slanging that thing around town and cheating on her. Unlike many rappers who I'm not going to name, Offset, Kendrick has been very slick and has never gotten dragged or exposed for cheating on Whitney. In fact, the only reason we know about the affairs is that he talked about it and sold out his own tea in his music. He has talked about cheating on Whitney in many songs, with the most recent one being the track Mother I Sober on his last album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. He said, insecurities that I project, sleeping with other women, Whitney's hurt, the purest soul I know, I found her in the kitchen, asking God, where did I lose myself and can it be forgiven? Broke me down, she looked me in my eyes, is there an addiction? I said no, but this time I lied, I knew that I can't fix it. Pure soul, even in her pain, know she cared for me. So he admitted that he kind of sorta had an addiction to intimacy, causing him to cheat on her so many times. But it looks like they have found a way to work through their issues because they are still together and they seem to be thriving. Well, until now that is. Drake brought up the whole cheating drama allegation in his ongoing beef with Kendrick, but the plot twist here is that he is accusing Whitney of cheating, not Kendrick. Girl, say what now? Child, this beef is taking casualties because there is no way Drake just spilled Whitney's business like that. It's crazy that this beef has been going on for more than 10 years now, but it only just got messy thanks to J. Cole name dropping Kendrick and his song with Drake. Now, J. Cole wasn't being shady with his shout out because he even paid his respect to Kendrick as one of the biggest rappers of our time. He said, love when they argue the hardest MC, is it K-Dot, is it Aubrey, or me? We the big three like we started a league, but right now I feel like Muhammad Ali. Well, Kendrick was not feeling this, and in his song with Metro Boomin, titled Like That, he dismissed Drake and J. Cole saying, if he walk around with that stick, it ain't Andre 3K. Think I won't drop the location? I still got PTSD, mother F the big three, ninja, it's just big me. Drake took offense about this, so he decided to record and drop 2 diss tracks against Kendrick titled Push-Ups and Tailor Made. However, Kendrick clapped back hard with the tracks Euphoria and 616 in LA, where he claimed that Drake was surrounded by frenemies who were trying to pull him down. This is where Drake started to really fight back, and he dropped another diss track called Family Matters, where he dragged Kendrick's family into the mess, accusing him of treating Whitney badly and putting paws on her. This was a really smooth diss because Kendrick has been fighting rumors and allegations for a long time about how he allegedly puts paws on Whitney and that she was his victim, allegedly.
Oh wait, this is true.
Yeah.
When they said you were in Vegas and you beat some guy bloody and you did something to some female.
Yeah.
And they said they had evidence and all of this, and then I never heard anything about it again.
Yeah, because it's foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most ignorant stuff I've ever heard made up.
I was like, Kendrick did that? I doubt it.
And, you know, that person who ever made that up owes an apology. Not to me, but to women that actually go out there and get a you dig what I'm saying? That's a real issue, and to be putting a person name that you know that stands for someone way more better, that's been raised way more better than that. That's not cool. There's people out there that really get a, and there's women out there that get a and don't say nothing and you know live their lives through that. So that's.
But I was like, I'm sure if that happened, there'd have been a police report. You would have been arrested.
That's foolishness. That's ignorant. That's all ignorant to 100%.
When you hear things in the news, certain things I believe about artists. That story, I didn't even think that was remotely close to
story about you. And I was like, there's no...
Drake even went as far as comparing Kendrick and Whitney's relationship to that of Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston, which is saying a lot because y'all know that Whitney and Bobby are the definition of toxic love. He also accused Kendrick of being an absentee father, saying, on some Bobby-ish, I want to know what Whitney need. All that puppy love was over in y'all late teens. Why you never hold your son and tell him say cheese? We could have left the kids out of this, don't blame me. He then dropped the bomb about how Whitney had committed paternity fraud and how one of Kendrick's kids wasn't his biological child. He claimed that Whitney had allegedly cheated on Kendrick with his manager, Dave Free, and passed Dave's kid off to Kendrick as his. He said, you a dog and you know it, you just play sweet. Your baby mama captions always scream and save me. You did her dirty all your life, you trying to make peace. I heard that one of them little kids might be Dave Free. Don't make it Dave Freeze, cause if your GM is your BM secret BD, then this is all making plenty effing sense to me. Hey, let that shorty breathe. Child, this is a hot mess. Interestingly, fans have noticed that Whitney doesn't follow Kendrick on social media, but she follows Dave. Plus, every time she posts her kids, Dave always gets all up in her comments, leaving emojis and all that stuff. Yeah, that's where they at. But Kendrick barely let the song marinate when he dropped another diss track against Kendrick called Meet the Grams. Just like Drake slammed Kendrick for the DV allegations, Kendrick slammed Drake for being a weirdo and a creep. He addressed Drake's mom saying, Sandra, sit down. What I'm about to say is heavy. Now listen, your son's a sick man with sick thoughts. I think ninjas like him and Weinstein should get effed up in a cell for the rest of their life. He hates black women, them with kinks of a nympho fetish. Grew facial hair because he understood being a beard just fit him better. He got sex offenders on Hovio that he keep on a monthly allowance. A child should never be compromised and he keeping his child around him. And we gotta raise our daughters knowing there's predators like him lurking. This was a reference to the allegations about how Drake allegedly goes after young girls. There are rumors that he holds wild Diddy-like parties in Toronto with high school girls being his target audience.
Being real with you, bro, growing up in high school, 16, 17, 18, having a crush on the baddest girl in your school, and then seeing her post at Drake's mansion every single time, seeing Drake in the follows. You don't know how demoralizing that is to a young teenage boy in Canada. So if I'm gonna be real, I've been waiting for this guy's downfall for a minute. I'm gonna still bump his music, it goes crazy, but this is for the younger generation. They don't have to deal with that no more.
There's also that weird stuff about how he used to text Millie Bobby Brown when she was just 14 and he was in his 30s talking to her about boys.
What about your relationship with Drake? Tell me about your friendship. How did this all come about?
I love him. I met him in Australia and he's honestly so fantastic and a great friend and a great role model. You know, we just texted each other the other day and he was like, I miss you so much. I was like, I miss you more. He's coming to Atlanta, so I'm definitely gonna go and see him. I'm so excited, yeah.
What advice does he give you? Like, what does he say?
About boys. He helps me.
What?
Yeah. He's great. He's wonderful. I love him.
What's his advice with boys?
You know, that stays in the text messages.
Don't even get me started on the reports that Drake allegedly hires people just to help him pick up girls.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. Now, everything I'm about to tell you is 100% true, and this information came to me from one of the crew members on Drake's tour. This was the guy who did all the tech stuff, and he told me that Drake has an employee whose job is to go around town looking for super hot girls. He finds the girls and then he interviews them, and out of all the girls he interviews, he picks the one that he thinks is the best. Then he drives her to Drake's place. Drake has sex with her and then he drives her home. So basically, Drake has his own private Tinder.
There's also the fact that Kendrick exposed Drake for having a secret daughter that he keeps hidden from the world. Kendrick said, you lied about your son, you lied about your daughter, huh? You lied about them other kids that's out there hoping that you come. Yeah, this isn't exactly shocking considering that the only reason Drake announced his son Adonis was that Pusha T spilled the tea during a rap beef. So it's not surprising that Drake would pull the same thing twice. In November 2022, there were reports that Drake had allegedly gotten a woman pregnant. A source said, it appears that Drizzy's legal team is taking the woman's claim seriously as they are keeping her quiet with an ironclad contract. The girl signed Drake's non-disclosure agreement, so she can't really talk about anything. So it's not really surprising that he would pull the same stunt again. However, Drake himself replied to this on Instagram and said, nah, hold on, can someone find my hidden daughter please and send her to me? These guys are in shambles. Well, Drake released another diss track called The Heart Part 6 where he talked about Whitney cheating again, and he went in on Kendrick about being a deadbeat who barely sees his kids. He said, and why isn't Whitney denying all the allegations? Why is is she following Dave Free and not Mr. Morale? You haven't seen the kids in 6 months? The distance is wild. Dave leaving heart emojis underneath pics of the child. He then accused Kendrick of being bitter, saying, but that's not the lesson. Clearly, there's a deeper message. Deep cuts that never healed, and now they got infected. Like if Dave really effed your girl and got her pregnant, talk about breeding resentment. I'm not sure how to ease the sentiment. This stuff is too intimate. I'm praying you recover from both incidents. He closed things off by going back to the DV allegations, and he offered to save Whitney from Kendrick, saying, and Whitney, you can hit me if you need a favor, and when I say hit your back, it's a lot safer. I promise. Girl, when I tell y'all that this is disrespectful, Drake's intention was to humiliate Kendrick, and he did a pretty good job of that because he came with all the smoke. Fans commented, that was probably Drake's easiest W ever. Now ninjas at every party going to sing about Whitney shaking that A for Dave Free. Lamid might crash out in real life. Man, Mari needs to come out of retirement real quick so we can get a Drake, Kendrick, Dave Free, and Whitney lie detector / paternity episode. This is getting too wild. And I can't lie, if Drake actually finessed Kendrick, he's in the lead right now. Also, Kendrick gotta address the situation with Whitney and Dave Free. But do y'all really believe that Drake is telling the truth about the paternity? Sound off in the comments, then check out this next video.